Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Yeah, I definitely think technology is helping shape the way law enforcement is handling different crimes and stuff.
Just tools in their arsenal. It's how investigators at the Fargo Police Department classified surveillance video systems and social media. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Now, September was a wild month here in the Fargo area with crime worries at the forefront of many people's minds. Yesterday, Fargo police made an arrest in connection with 2 South Fargo robberies. And Valley News Team's Bradford Eric tells us how surveillance and social media all played a role.
Rodney Edward Anderson is arrested and charged with robbing the Casey's on South University and the Holiday on 32nd Avenue in Fargo. But police had to dig a little deeper to find him behaving badly on camera.
As technology advances, we get more advanced in crime fighting and everything too, so it just gets easier, I think.
SafeCam is a program used by the police where you register your private security video system. But the businesses and homes near the Casey's and Holiday stores weren't signed up.
One of our investigators had previous knowledge of cameras in that area and with that business because he had taken and utilized that same business to solve another crime.
And Lieutenant Vettel says his competitive investigators are proud when they can help keep the streets clean. But surveillance video has been getting a boost lately in the form of social media, mainly Facebook.
Everybody checks their phones and social media nowadays, and it helps get the message clear to people so they can see what might be happening in the community.
We've generated tips based on the posts that we present, and certainly we rely on that to get that information out as quickly as possible. It's one more avenue that we can generate information out to the public.
So in addition to canvassing an area for clues and questioning witnesses, the Fargo police say you can expect plenty more still shots of robbers on Facebook as they continue hunting bad guys. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Of the thousands of households and businesses in the metro, police say just 44 cameras are registered with SafeCam. Police ask that you sign up your own surveillance system with this program. If you're interested, we have a link to sign up on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
As many as 13 people are dead, nearly 24 injured after a gunman opened fire at a community college in Oregon during morning classes. It happened at the college in Roseburg, Oregon. It's about 180 miles south of Portland. The gunman targeting students and faculty in multiple classrooms. The wounded were transported to one area hospital for treatment. Federal officials indicate that the gunman died at the scene. School officials were able to call for help while still on lockdown.
That she was still very scared, and she told me that it was an active shooter situation that they were in.
The community college and the surrounding community, a rural town of about 20,000, now dealing with an unspeakable act of violence by a gunman who apparently targeted random victims.
An officer-involved shooting last night in Mora, Minnesota, that's still under investigation. A sheriff's deputy was responding to a 911 call when she was attacked and repeatedly punched in the head. The deputy fired their weapon, hitting the attacker, then was pronounced dead shortly after. And after Monday's officer-involved shooting here at Fargo, many of you had asked, why didn't the officer shoot to wound the person? Now, Fargo police say firearms training is conducted for officers with the hope that they never have to use it. Part of the training involves how much force to use against a resisting subject. Fargo Sergeant Jim Kringley says that he teaches officers to shoot until the behavior stops, and 1 or 2 rounds may actually not necessarily accomplish that.
Several emergency crews responded to a report of what appeared to be a bomb in a Detroit Lakes park this morning. Officers found an object taped to a power pole in the park just south of Rossman Elementary School. The device had a cell phone taped to it and wires that appeared to be connecting to the phone to the package. Tune in tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10. Valley News Team's Macy Enger will have much more on this particular story. Emergency crews responded to a crash in North Fargo just a couple of hours ago to a scene of a moving truck that had flipped onto its side. The accident happened at 12th Avenue North on 2nd Street North in Fargo. One man was stuck inside the truck for as long as 10 minutes. Fargo Fire Department say the injuries were minor. The intersection is now back open.
A very windy day out there today with temperatures that seem a little cooler than normal for this time. Let's head to Hutch now to see how we're going to be tonight. Hutch?
Well, if you have outdoor plans, one thing to keep in mind is the wind that we've been battling throughout the day looks to be pretty persistent. Here is a look at the radar. With temperatures slipping into the 50s shortly, we have showers and thunderstorms moving in towards the Maddock area. Now, there is some green moving through the Fargo area, but most of this precipitation is evaporating before it hits the ground. Where it is raining is southern and western portions of Grand Forks County, Nelson County, and the Ransom and Benson County areas seeing some pretty good showers and thunderstorms. Nothing severe, just a little wet for our western neighbors. Temperatures in the 50s this evening. Yes, breezy, but dry for most of us in Fargo, Grand Forks, and in Lakes Country. I'll have details on what we can expect for the close of our work week and the first weekend of our October here in just a moment.
It just feels really cold for some reason.
It certainly has changed, yes.
It has, and such. Although Congress voted to fund the government before it shut down, some programs were left to expire. The World Trade Center Health Program was just one of the programs expiring as of midnight last night. Now, it's a program that affects nearly 70,000 people. 2 weeks ago, hundreds of first responders rallied outside of Capitol Hill fighting for an extension of their health programs. And although the time has run out, hope for those first responders hasn't. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is continuing to fight for a permanent extension of the bill, which is already gaining support from a number of bipartisan lawmakers.
They answered the call of duty when we needed them on 9/11, and the least we can do is make sure they have their basic health care needs met.
Senator Gillibrand says if this program isn't renewed by the end of the year, it will begin to shut down, and health care for over 30,000 first responders and survivors will stop.
A local drug treatment center says they will go bankrupt without more help from the state. Multiple people contacted our whistleblower hotline worried about the future of the Robinson Treatment Center. We spoke to the director who says they didn't get the funding that they asked for from the state of North Dakota. While Minnesota provides vouchers for those seeking treatment at the Robinson Treatment Center, North Dakota does not.
We're a nonprofit. The goal is not to make lots of money, but we do need to cover our expenses, and those funds have to come from somewhere. And so we just had a fundraiser a month ago. The gross revenues was almost $100,000, and that was wonderful. But again, when we're looking at $7.5 million in expenses, 165 employees, the money has to come from someplace. So we need to keep the doors open.
Medhus is asking North Dakota to give vouchers to addicts similar to Minnesota.
In the wake of recent crime waves of robbery and shootings in the valley, UND launched a new program today.
It's called Green Dot. The idea behind it is to get everyone on campus involved in stopping and preventing crime. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us how it works.
Green Dot aims to engage community members as active bystanders in the reduction of personal violence. It's an effort to get bystanders to step out of the shadows to stop bad behavior and crime. It does not necessarily mean stepping into the middle of a bar fight.
It wouldn't be a good idea to directly intervene, so you could delegate to someone, such as calling 911, or maybe it's downtown at a bar, you could delegate to a bouncer, or you could distract the situation.
And check in with a friend who might be in a relationship that's not healthy to say, hey, are you okay? How are things going?
Today, UND students receive some instruction on how to handle all kinds of situations, including dating violence, domestic violence, and stalking. Organizers say we need to visualize a map of our town with a series of green dots, places where folks have stepped up to stop bad behavior and crime.
We would give students the ability to be able to identify that that is a moment of harm or action, but also we give them the strategies to use to be able to intervene.
And something they can be proud of, it's going to go a long way so that we do build that community of people not tolerating, whether it's domestic violence or sexual assault or whatever crime it may be.
The goal behind all this is to create an atmosphere on campus that spreads into the community. A community where bad or criminal behavior simply isn't accepted. A community where people quickly step forward to stop it. The Green Dot campaign is already active in over 100 college campuses and high schools across the country. And it's now spreading into communities surrounding those campuses. In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
If you'd like to learn more about the Green Dot campaign and the possibility of starting it in your town or school, we have it online. Just head to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story.
Very important programs.
It is.
Yeah. Well, later on Valley News Live at 6, sharing lunch with a true North Dakota flavor to it.
And we did manage to hit the 60s, even 70 today in Roseau, where there was more sunshine. Rain continues for eastern North Dakota. I'll tell you for how long, coming up right after this.